What's going on, guys? It's the Bearded One back with another beer review, and we're back after an involuntary, unfortunate break. I'll try to be quick with the update, but I broke my phone, the one I'm recording on, went to another phone to try and keep the channel running. That didn't work out because that camera sucks. Basically lost that review. I don't even remember what I reviewed. It's not a beer that I was devastated I lost the film on. Fairly easy beer to find, if I remember correct. But you know, rewinding, when I broke the phone I'm recording on right now, I lost probably 5 reviews. Then I lost a review on the crappy backup phone I have. I probably just need to throw it away because now it is so old. It's a Samsung Galaxy 5 and it's so old now that Verizon doesn't even accept that SIM card anymore. So it's no longer a viable option as a backup phone. And then what else has happened? Overtime where I work has just ramped up big time. And I know there's at least 3 people I work with that watch the channel, at least keep up with me from time to time. And whoa, it's just been really hard to find the gumption to want to drink on a work night. Which I don't pound the beers anymore. I drink like a dad. You know, I've got the dad bod here. So you know, my partying days are over, but you know, I still don't want to go to bed and wake up, you know, feeling weird, you know, because some of these beers, like the one I'm about to drink, come in those big 16-ounce cans, and that's a lot of beer for a drinking session right before bed. So yeah, it's just been crazy. Summer semester was crazy. You know, I'm still in school. I'm trying to bite the bullet and just pound school as hard as I can and get through that. Excuse me, I don't know what's going on. Random call for air pocket or something got my chest. But yeah, there's also school, so it's just like the channel is just not. I'm not able to make it a priority, even though I would like for the channel to be a priority. So tonight we're doing another Alabama IPA. I know I do them all the time. I know you guys probably don't believe me. I'm trying to move away from doing these Alabama IPAs, and as I say this, I have 2 more. You guessed it already, 2 more Trim Tab IPAs in the fridge. I just love chasing down that collection. I know I've said it. What, we're up to 7, 8 Trim Tab IPA reviews. So we'll get to those. But I'm trying to make a push to get more towards. I want to do more international, like imports. I've drank craft beer for a long time now. I'm very familiar with the product, and I think I'm ready to kind of go back to imports and those kinds of things. The kind of beers that I was drinking and exploring when I was really getting into beer all those years ago. So yeah, I did lose a Pacifico review, so I tried to get a Mexican beer on there. I reviewed the Lucky Buddha. I'm keeping the bottle for my collection. I'll review Lucky Buddha again. But you know, I was going to try and put a Chinese beer on the channel. I do still have my Kirin Ichiban, I think it's a Pilsner, in the fridge. We'll get to that soon. It's good Pilsner weather, good light beer weather, pale lager weather. So yeah, we'll get to that one soon. And then I'll have, I think Kirin Ichiban is Japanese, so that'll be fun. I'll do some research on that beer and we'll have a good time. On this beer though, this Ghost Train beer, I did not look up any information on this beer. It's kind of old, but I think it's, as I've watched more and more reviewers, I get the consensus idea, I guess the groupthink idea on IPAs is 3 months is really the safe zone for IPAs. And I think we're nearing the 3 month. It's been 2.5 months, I want to say, since I bought this beer. So we're getting close to where a lot of reviewers wouldn't even touch this beer, at least on camera. So we got to get to it, you know. I don't know much about this beer. It is dry hopped with Nelson Sauvignon. I think that is supposed to be reminiscent of a white wine. It's supposed to have a grape flavor to it, but it would be more like a really white grape, dainty kind of flavor. It won't be pungent and in your face. It's not going to taste like grape juice, obviously. The Amarillo, I don't know much about Amarillo, but Amarillo is definitely a familiar name. Comet and Chinook. Chinook's like, you know, one of the sea hops everybody likes these days. I learned something about sea hops. I said it in a video within the last couple months, but I cannot remember what it was. Would love to say it here. And then again, Comet, I don't know much about that. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. We got 4 varieties of hops here. Expecting it to be plenty flavorful. It's a New England IPA. They got a cool little, I don't know if you can see it on camera. I don't know if I'm getting it in camera or not. You know, when you're reviewing things on your mobile phone, you don't get the little flip thing to see where you're at in camera. But it says Nelson Comet Amarillo -O hash, whatever that means, hop hash. So that's pretty unique, I guess. It's called Daze. Daze. It's got the, you know, like the Technicolor afterbodies or whatever that you used to see in old color television sets. And then it also says passion fruit, so there should be plenty of passion fruit in here. It's 8.25%, and in a 16-ounce can. I think this is the ideal quantity and ABV amount for relaxing on a Friday night and you're not trying to get smashed. You're just trying to take the edge off of work, or maybe you just got off work and you need a beer to take the edge off. I really like the 16-ounce, right around 7 to 9% alcohol. I really like that format, if you will, per se, for that. Trying to accomplish that. That puts me 16 ounces between 7 and 9% alcohol. Puts me in a really good headspace. Because you're not drunk at all, but you're definitely not sober. Pours out typical New England IPA color. Looks a lot like pineapple juice coming out of the can. I wouldn't say it looks like pineapple juice in the glass though. It looks more, it's a little bit more orange here. I'd say it used a really good solid gold here. It doesn't highlight much. It gets kind of dark in the middle, but it, you know, overall, it's just a good, solid, rich gold color. Definitely haze bomb. It's called Daze. Daze, you know. Get the marketing. If I were to judge the carbonation by what's in the glass, I would say this thing is probably effervescent. We'll have to see if it is indeed effervescent on the palate. Effervescent, by my understanding of effervescent, if you have a better definition, please put it in the description. But just from studying other reviewers and critics, I haven't actually looked up the tongue-tied. I haven't actually looked up the dictionary term for effervescence, but based on the context I see other reviewers use it in, It's like the strongest threshold of that prickliness factor. You usually would get it in like a soda pop or like an energy drink, just really effervescent. I don't really know how else to describe it. So I'm just saying that just in case you don't know what the hell I'm talking about when I say effervescent. No head, didn't retain at all. It did perform ahead. Probably not the best phrase to use. It did produce a head. There we go. That's a little more PG. But again, no retaining. Very loose, big bubbles there. And I think a lot of that had, you know, that's kind of, what am I trying to say? It kind of comes from all that, you know, the effervescent carbonation coming in here, I would think. There's just so much bubbles and volatility in this beer that I would think that affects the head, in my opinion. I don't know if there's any correlation, is the word I was looking for. I don't know if there's any correlation between head and carbonation movements, but I would think it correlates. Very piney and grassy. That's the first thing that hits me here. Not the sharpest pine ever. I find pine to be a really sharp flavor on the nose. Well, I don't want to say definitely. It's not as poignant as I thought it was going to be, but there is that lemon, citrus, you know, the tropical citrus fruits dancing around. That centerpiece of hops. I think I can tell that that Sauvignon is there, although it could be a mind trick because I know it's there. Hence why I don't like reading taster's notes or ingredients lists all so often, although it is good to read them from time to time to test your knowledge, just make sure you're not fooling yourself. So I'm going to say I think it's there. I think I can detect the Sauvignon, but it's not very pungent, I guess. You know, I can't sit here and say, oh, I'm smelling wine grapes. But I think I get a subtle sweeter grape smell. But again, it's just very light. You gotta look for it. And I think if you're not used to Sauvignon, you're probably going to miss it. Maybe some pineapple here. I'm not well versed in passion fruit. I don't think I've ever eaten it raw. So forgive me if you ever have this, forgive me if this thing smells like total passion fruit to you and I'm not describing it all that much. I'm just not well versed in the fruit. I have had beer with passion fruit in it before. I believe there was passion fruit in the Kona Long Island IPA. It was like my second or third review ever on the channel. So look that up and see if it was in there. The passion fruit. And then I think there was Sauvignon in, I have reviewed a beer with Sauvignon in it, and for the life of me, I can't even remember what it was. Yeah, tropical, piney, what you would expect from this beer. This beer delivers on the aroma. It's quite pleasant, doesn't turn you off. There's nothing overbearing about the nose. I'm very thirsty. My mouth is so dry, which is weird because I pounded a glass of water prior to this review. So I bought this in a 4-pack like 2.5 months ago, roughly. I bought it I think I just bought it just to have it around and review with the intent to review. But I just remember having one of them at a barbecue competition my buddy over at Juice's Brewing Q had. And I don't remember the alcohol being this pungent, but this thing is boozy tonight. I don't know if that has anything to do with the age or not, but I've never, like, I age beers and I don't have a beer cellar, so I don't want to act like, you know, I age it properly. But I have a cabinet that stays at room temperature and doesn't get any sunlight, so I just keep beers that I think are okay to age in there, like barrel aged stuff. And when I take them out occasionally to pop the top, it doesn't seem like the alcohol becomes louder, if you will, in the beer. So this is interesting because this is, being an IPA, it's been in my fridge, not in my poor man's cellar. Hops on the front end, a sharp, piney note. I would say there's grass in here as well. It definitely tastes like a complex hop flavor. It's kind of hard for me to pick it apart because I think the age has kind of dulled it down a little bit. But this does taste complex. This doesn't taste like a one-trick pony hop beer. And then I would say kind of anchoring the beer, just kind of, well, not anchoring the beer, that would be the hops anchoring the beer, at least what I consider to be an anchor for the beer. Just kind of floating around the hops and just kind of balancing things out and rounding the beer off is all of that passion fruit, lemon, pineapple, I don't want to say grapefruit, more of like the pineapple and lemon, very acidic fruits, tropical fruits, and then I'm going to say passion fruit, but again, I'm not well versed in passion fruit, but I'm sure it's in there. I'm sure I'm tasting it. I would say, let's go with a medium finish. It's not watery, it's not thick and syrupy. There's a little bit of astringency here. Obviously, with the higher alcohol leads to astringency. Astringency, for those of you who aren't familiar with the term, I'm referring to the dryingness of the beer. When you swallow it, it has this drying sensation, like the beer is just like clearing up out of your palate. I give it a good medium astringency. It definitely dries, but you do get a wet swallow at first, and then seemingly as you've swallowed the beer, I mean, that thing just like evaporates out of your mouth. Viscosity here, I'd say again, medium viscosity, not huge. I feel like I've had way more solid IPAs than this. It's maybe more of a light, leaning towards medium. I know if you took a BJCP test, taster test, they would definitely dock you for saying light, leaning towards medium. They want you to be pretty precise. But we're not taking a BJCP taster test here. We're just having fun, hanging out, drinking some Daze. I feel like I've hit everything. And because this beer is tasting a little boozy tonight, and I'm about to hit the sack, I'm gonna put it down for a second while I talk about some recommendations. I liked this beer a lot better fresh. It's an IPA, so obviously, if you're a fan of New England IPAs and you're in the Alabama area, I personally, and a lot of you who follow the channel already know this, personally just adore Trim Tab and what they do with the Light Visions collection. They just can't miss I personally put Trim Tab above Ghost Train, but my buddy who lives in Birmingham and loves Trim Tab, you know who you are if you ever see this video. Again, a fan of Trim Tab. He's a fan. He's very proud of his city's brewery scene. I would be too. Birmingham has a lot to be proud of. He puts Ghost Train above Trim Tab. Excuse me. I've not. I just lost my train of thought here. Oh, I'm not sure he's had Daze. I'm sure he would have told me if he's had Daze, but he has had some of their IPAs, and he puts them above Trim Tab. And then also the lady who co-owns Top Shelf Beverage in Decatur with her husband, she told me she likes Ghost Train IPAs better than Trim Tab IPAs. So two people that I consider, pretty versed in beer, know what to expect in beer, and probably have pretty solid palates, brag on Ghost Train. So you can't go wrong if you try Daze. If you like passion fruit, if you like more acidity, and less of like the orange and the grapefruit and things of that nature, try this out. Maybe it'll be for you. I think New England IPA, is this a double? Yeah, this is a double IPA, so it'll be pretty bitter for like a a newcomer to the IPA category. But I do recommend in people's journeys through IPA, I would recommend possibly starting with the New England style before you get to West Coast, because West Coast is going to be more like, to me, the best way to describe a West Coast is like a really super duper dank lager. That's what a West Coast IPA tastes like to me. Anyways, if you get like a traditional West Coast IPA, not something that's been, what's the word I'm trying to think? If you don't get one that, like the brewery is doing their own iteration of it, they're not trying to be a traditionalist about it, I guess is the best way to put it. So yeah, I do like IPAs to introduce to people who are ready to take that step into IPAs and really explore the category. I think the New England style, something like a Daze, would be a good introduction to what the style can offer you. As far as the grade goes, I know for a fact when I had this fresh, I would have gave it a better score. However, tonight, I feel like the beer has kind of dulled out. I did crack the top in time. I've had much older IPAs. If you watch the channel, much older IPAs. I can't believe I drank that 2016 Celebration. My God. And I didn't even know it was 2016 when I popped that top. So I looked pretty dumb on camera. But as far as this one goes, just the beer's just been a little bit dulled out. The flavor, the palate's kind of muddy. You kind of had to sift through it at this point at 2.5 months old to kind of pick apart everything. And I'm not reviewing this fresh, and I don't want to give it a score based on how I had it fresh. I want to give it a score based on what's in this can right now. I feel like that's the more honest route to take. And so I'm going to have to give this beer give it a 3.5 out of 5. It's not terrible. Again, it's just been aged a little longer. And I would have liked, I should have hit this beer up a long time ago. But tonight it's just a little boozy. The pine is just a little too sharp. The citrus is a little too subdued for me. And it's hard to really, someone like me, I like to compartmentalize everything in my brain. And it's hard for me to compartmentalize all the flavors in my brain as I register, you know, the flavors. But I think that's all I have today. Ghost Train, Daze, 3.5 out of 5. Till next time, guys. Cheers.